Welcome, everyone. It's really great to have you here. This is a special date for us. It's already 5 years since everything started with a group of passionate people, young EV researchers. Can you see my slides? I will give just a brief overview of SNEV. And then, of course, we are going to start with the fifth year celebration of this. So as most of you know, SNEV is it's a student network led by ECRs, by early career researchers, that 5 years ago in 2020, in July 2020, a group of passionate young researchers joined together and put efforts to create this group of EV researchers around the world. And I believe this started, I wasn't part of the initial steps of SNEV, but I believe this started mainly because there were some representation, especially when looking to working groups on the EV field, and also other professional societies and training programs for the EV field. But something to connect ECRs worldwide was missing. And I believe this was the goal. But of course, we have here the founders to explore this a little bit better later on. So the first executive committee started in 2020, as I was mentioned, and it was led by Amir, Nasiri and by Sara Veiga, which are both here to share a little bit of their experience. And of course, they had a great team behind them, helping to promote SNEV and to create activities. And this eventually moved to a second executive committee 2 years later. And another group of young researchers came together to move forward with SNEV and the vision that they had. And of course, eventually came up with this executive committee that is working right now. But of course, so many faces, so many people working towards the goals of SNEV, but all members were part of SNEV throughout the years and were giving a lot of effort, energy, and of course, innovative ideas to bring connection between ECRs. And nowadays, we have new members, once again, to increase our team. Here are the new faces of the team: Elisa Frena, Emma Simmons, Heather Renner, and William Phillips, which are going to be new members for the podcast team and the media team. And just to give you some stats, we try to be representative of the EV field, of the EV community. And if we look to the members that we have in DCM right now and the dispersion around the globe, look into the ICEP chapters, I think we have a good representation overall. So we have quite some diversity between the three ICEP chapters, but we are representing 11 different countries, which I think is really, really nice data. And regarding the position that we have so far, most of us, it's also quite a nice 50% split almost, but we have postdocs, 40% of the members are postdocs, and also we have PhD students or equivalents, around to 60%. So with this brief introduction of what is SNEV and goals and how we started, I don't want to take much time because we are going to explore this a little bit better. But I just want to publicly say thank you to everyone who has been contributing to SNEV to make to take a SNEV to the level that it is today. Not only the executive committee members, but also all the members that are participating in our activities and pushing SNEV to the next chapter, because we try to do what is best, the best fit for you. So without you, of course, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't have this drive, this motivation. So thank you so much, everyone. And now we are going to move to the actual celebration part. And for that, we have Dr. Kenneth Witwer. Thank you so much for joining us, which is going to give a brief overview of his view about SNEV over the past years. I believe you under the ISEF's view also, which has been really supportive to our mission, will be the nice person to show how you feel or how the experts in the field look towards SNEV. And after that, we are going to have, we think it's also fun to have a founders Q&A session. So because of that, we have Sara and Amir, which are going to be open to your questions. So please post your questions in the chat box. Of course, we can ask other questions, but I think it's going to be interactive to try to understand, because this is the kind of information that you don't get in scientific presentations. But I think it's also fun to see how everything started and what was the driving, how was the first meeting, for instance, but we will discuss that later on. And we will finish with a SNEV Knowledge Quiz. And the winner is going to get a $50 gift card. So yeah, do your best to win this, and let's see who is the biggest fan of SNEV. So without that, I don't have anything else to say for now. So I'm sharing the floor with the screen with Dr. Witwer. So I'm interrupting here. Thank you so much for joining. And please go ahead.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation to address SNEV today and to really celebrate SNEV with you. My name is Kenneth Witwer, and I'm the president of ISEV at the moment until 2026. And, you know, I think I've become somebody who is a little bit jaded, not so easily impressed, but SNEV has impressed me at every stage and repeatedly and consistently. So the things that SNEV has done over the past 5 years have been really amazing. And I think it's worth looking back at the environment in which SNEV was created. So as we all remember, 2020 was a very strange year. It was a year that many of us were locked down because of this nasty virus. And we went from, I think this had an impact on our behavior, on our way of thinking. You know, we went from, you know, am I going to shake that person's hand or not? To, you know, there was the so-called Wuhan foot shake. You know, some people were trying to, you know, interact with each other by just touching feet. And then it ended up with most people just doing the fist bump, right? So we had these different ways of interacting despite the virus and the threat that the virus posed. But I think that out of all of those restrictions, we also found ways to, you know, to connect with each other in new arenas and on new levels. And a lot of good things actually did come out of 2020. Unfortunately, my beard was not one of them. And I'm very happy to say that this beard went away in late 2022. So you don't see that today, fortunately for everyone. But one of the really great things that arose from that time was SNEV. And so I congratulate the founders of SNEV and all the people who kept it going over the last 5 years, because this early career professional network has really become a mainstay of the EV community. And, you know, as we have already heard, this was established. It was established originally by PhD students and for PhD students, but it's now expanded to be really all trainees, all early career professionals. And so it's a very inclusive network. And it was run without really any support at all for the first few years. And so Amir and Sara and many others were really shouldering the burden of building this community in the beginning without a lot of support. And so I commend them on all of their efforts and all of the successes. As of last year, 2024, SNEV agreed to join ISEV. We agreed to have a formal partnership, not just an informal partnership. And that connection was also established in the ISEV bylaws this year. So the good news is that there will be an early career professional network for ISEV as long as ISEV is around. And we also introduced a new no-cost ISEV membership for SNEV members that started last year. And this is really, I think that the early career professional community has always been a strong part of ISEV. I remember my very first meeting where ISEV meeting back in 2012, where somebody stood up and questioned. It was actually a PhD student who stood up and questioned the ISEV president. And this was something that you don't see in a lot of communities. The president of some other society might have said, "Oh, who are you? You don't know my work," or whatever. But there was actually a substantive exchange there, and I think that kind of boldness and confidence, and also willingness to have dialogue, is part of the ISEV community, and is a part of our strength. So you can see here how the membership has grown over the last few years. I'm not showing 2025 here, but this influx of SNEV members and this new membership category has definitely led to an increase in the ISEV community. We have heard about some of the types of activities that SNEV has been involved in. I'm just listing a few of those here. Many of you are clearly active in SNEV, and you are quite familiar with these, so I'm not going to go through them one by one. I just want to emphasize the diversity of the events, of the offerings that SNEV has put together, and how valuable they have become. I'm going to come back to the mentorship program in just a second here. So there we go. So one of the early things, this was also established in 2020, was an extracellular vesicle club, or EV club, which is now also part of ISEV, although it arose from my lab. And I just want to note the role that SNEV has had in the EV club over the years. So we've had about 200 sessions to date, and more than 63% of them have had a presenter who is an early career professional. Of these sessions, SNEV actually organized 16 of them and provided a moderator and a presenter, or more than one presenter in some cases, for those EV clubs. And so this offering has also been very successful over the years. And if you'd like to join that and participate in it, be another early career professional who's presenting or moderating, please feel free to contact me. But I want to just conclude with a few words on the mentorship program. So this is a joint SNEV and ISEV offering that just started this year. And it's focused on professional development. So this is not really for reviewing a paper or talking just about science. It's more about connecting with somebody to ask those questions that you might not wish to ask your formal mentor. You might not be comfortable with some of those questions, or just getting a different perspective on things. Like, for example, career transitions, work-life balance, networking, and so on. So the original round of this, and actually this has been under discussion at ISEV for many years, and it really took SNEV's involvement to stimulate us to actually get it done finally. So we had a lot of applications for this. There's a current cohort of about 30 mentor-mentee pairs, and this program is actually now being expanded. So I want to just share where this is going now. We're actually just about to announce, I think it's probably going to be sent out today, the second round of the mentorship pairings. And this is going, this is under the education committee at ISEV. And this program, so basically there's going to be benefits for both mentees and mentors. And people can apply for this program, the second phase, until August 15th of 2025. So the way that it works, the goal is to have at least one meeting every 2 months between the mentor and mentee, and then also hopefully to have in-person connections. So that might be at ISEV 2026 in Puerto Rico. It might be at some other meeting. But the goal is to really have a network established, a connection with somebody who might be outside of your current network. So this mentorship program, again, I just want to say thank you to SNEV for supporting this and for really driving some of the folks who were a little slow, like me, to finally get it done. So I just want to conclude here with final congratulations. Congratulations to SNEV, to the founders for having the vision, and to the sustainers for keeping this going for 5 years. And I'm really looking forward to everything that you accomplish in the next 5 as well. So thanks for having me here, and I really appreciate this community.
Thank you very much, Ken. It's really amazing to see the overview that you did, because I think I'm speaking by myself, but I think I can also speak on Amir's and Sara's half that sometimes we forget some things and we remember some of those details is just amazing, I believe. I don't know if anyone would like any question to if you raise your hand or post the questions in the chat box. Oh yeah, we have here a question. Barbara, will you like to unmute yourself and ask?
I don't know if my internet is good or not. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, hi, Ken. What opportunities do you think SNEV should explore or should do in the next years in part of the... So, despite everything that SNEV is have been doing, what do you think we should explore more?
Well, that's a tough question for me because I feel like the people who are in this session right now are probably more creative and more forward thinking than I am. But I will try with a few ideas, if I may. Um, I think that there is still a need for education, education not just of people who are in the field or entering the field, but also people who are outside the field. And I look at examples like currently the cosmetics industry. There's a lot of interest in EVs, and there's just a tremendous interest there. And a lot of money involved. Sometimes the science is okay, sometimes it's not so okay. And I think that it's going to take a concerted effort by the community to make sure that we push forward good clinical trials, that we push forward good education to lead to those clinical trials, not just in the cosmetic sector, obviously, but I think especially in areas where it's evident that some more education is required. And I think that SNEV and SNEV members can be a part of that, can be a very important part of that. So just I think spreading the word, having some toolkits available for education. When I was a student, I used to edit Wikipedia all the time. Wikipedia, I'm not sure, where it stands right now in the landscape of things, but it's still one of the first websites that comes up if you do a search for something. And so I think that there are a lot of ways that people can be involved in education. In terms of collaboration, there too, I'm not sure how that would be structured, but you are aware probably that there are some programs that involve not just an informal mentorship, but actually an exchange, some kind of an exchange between labs. That's very difficult to set up, especially internationally, beyond the borders of something like the Schengen zone or whatever. It's difficult, but it can be done. And I think that SNEV, it's an initiative that SNEV or a prerogative of SNEV to think about what you want, what is not available right now, and is there some feasible way to get there? So, for example, if somebody wants to come to my lab and learn something on an instrument, is that something that we can do? Is that something that ISEV and SNEV can support? Or is there a better way to do it? A way that doesn't involve years and years of paperwork. So I don't know what the answer is there, but I know that people have come to me and said, can we do something like this? And I would appreciate as much help as possible in getting a good answer for that.
Thank you. I think it's good opportunities here.
Thank you.
So any other questions for Ken?
Yeah, I just would like to ask Ken for all the support. Thank him for all the support that he and ICE have shown to SNEV from the very beginning. Yeah, I think everybody, is aware of the support of ICEV. Another thing is you inspired me with an idea. Maybe we'll just discuss later the ECM of having a series, of like defining what are the misinformation about EVs, what's right and what's wrong, because we experience this a lot, especially with clinicians. Sometimes they come and ask us and they think EVs are like especially I'm in the EV therapy field, that it's a magic solution to everything, which is not true. So I think it's our we can contribute to this awareness.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
yeah,
That's great. And I think, we have the opportunity right now because of where the field is and in relation to the rest of the world, to really put our stamp on that education process and to be positive about what we know about EVs, but also willing to correct some of the misinformation, and
yeah.
just raise the level overall. So thank you for that. And just by the way, the decision of ISEV to be involved with SNEV, it was one of the easiest decisions we ever made because it was very clearly needed, and also a great partnership, from the informal stage to the formal stage.
Yeah. Thank you.
I would like to say something. I kind of have a fun question for Ken, but yes, I wanted to just reiterate what Maimona said, that it was very exciting at the start when Ken showed interest, Ken and Edith, and you're just like, oh my God, we can have some support from ISEV. This is so nice. So yeah, thank you so much, Ken. You and Edith are like really being like the godparents of SNEV, just really like pushing us to like just make sure we do better, we carry on, and we can have a flag to carry and make sure we care about the ECRs. So I have a question for you. Like, what is your favorite thing about SNEV? It can be anything, but what is your favorite thing?
Oh, it's the energy. It's absolutely the energy. The ideas, like I don't from one day to the next, I see some post on social media about something that you guys are doing, and I think, wow, that's amazing. Oh, you got such a great speaker. Oh, that's a really interesting topic. Or oh, coffee discussion. That's something that sounds really cool. So all these things that you've done over the years, and it's not that that you start something and it always continues forever, right? I mean, you kind of also adjust things, you optimize things, you change titles of things. I think that's a really healthy thing about SNEV, that you have such a mix of ideas and such a mixture of personalities and people who have special interests and are willing to advance them. So that really the energy, the contributions from all of your members are the thing that excites me the most.
Nice, that's
You were
nice.
going to ask me about my beard or something when you said it was one question.
No, I do remember your beard. I think I still remember your beard.
Yeah,
It was very memorable.
I definitely remember it for sure. So I would like maybe to add something here to the discussion, because I think that it will be really nice, something that we, SNEV and ISEV, could do together, will be to make more connections or even official connections with other large societies, because I think it will be really beneficial to have involvement with other societies, because some societies also do a lot of work with EVs, like the immunology field or hematology field. And I think that there are the EV field is quite new compared to these fields. And I think that some technology or some applications or even some logistic steps we could learn a lot from them. And also we could also help to increase the quality of the science related to EVs on those fields, because lack of standardization is something that ISEF has been working a lot, but we need to keep pushing the bar, I believe. And I don't know, I think that connecting with other societies officially will be really good. And I believe SNEV could help on that part, look into the ECR arms of each society. So I'm just raising here the point to see what do you think about this. And I believe ISEV is thinking or working on that. But yeah, I think that will be something that it will be nice if we could make it happen together.
Wow, I love it. Yeah. Over the years, ISEV has had some partnerships with other societies. I'm thinking about the
Flow
cytometry
cytometry.
collaborations that we've had, ISCT. We've been in discussions with the Japanese Society for Regenerative Medicine. So there are a few of those things, but as you note, EVs are involved in almost every field in biomedicine, and
Yeah, sure.
and it's even hard for any one person to have an overview of what's going on anywhere at this point. So I think that the idea of involving ECRs in those connections is great. because what we really need is people who have intimate knowledge of these societies and who are able to share that knowledge with ISEV and help to direct the connections. It occurred to me while you were talking as well that I think one of the problems that we have in science is with silos, with putting walls between different disciplines, between different societies, and not sharing. So something that takes place at an immunology meeting, as you mentioned, immunology, it doesn't get communicated over to ISEV, and vice versa. Like, what if we could introduce something at the ISEV annual meeting, or maybe it could be a special kind of paper in a journal where somebody attends a meeting and kind of gives the highlights of, that, to the extent that it's allowed, right, for things that are not published, but kind of gives the highlights of what they see at that immunology meeting or that neuroscience meeting. That could be a really nice way to first of all make sure that knowledge is exchanged, but then also, I think, give a platform to whoever writes that article or gives that talk. That would be, I think, very, very valuable for everyone. So just an idea that I think this is a really nice discussion.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. I think it will be an interesting idea that we could explore in the future. Of course, it needs a lot of maturing, but I think it will be, like you were saying, the flow cytometry, joining with the flow cytometry working group. I think it was highly beneficial for the EV field. And I'm expecting, or I can foresee that these kind of interactions with other societies in some specific scientific fields that are raising more awareness and EV research will be highly beneficial, not only for us, but also for them and for the quality of science produced. So.
Absolutely.
Okay, so thank you very much. This was quite a small but very productive discussion. I believe that we can proceed to the second part of this celebration, that is going to be the Q&A session. I'm really excited about this part, but I'm going to hand over to my Mona to handle this part.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm very excited to be here today. We have two very special guests, Sara and Amir. Yeah, the founders of SNEV. So we're going to have a discussion with them on how it all started and about the journey of SNEV so far. So so let me introduce Amir and Sara. Amir is currently a postdoc researcher in the Hoshino Laboratory at the University of Tokyo. He's the founder and former president of SNEV. Sara Veiga is a postdoc at MGH Cancer Center, Harvard Medical School. And she is also a founder of SNEV, former vice president, and then former president. So it'll be fun having the discussion with you. I'm going to open the floor as well. You can ask, to the audience, you can write your questions in the chat box, or you can also unmute yourself if you want to join this discussion. So do you have any questions for Amir and Sara? So if no questions, then I will start the questions first. So what inspired you to start SNEV?
I'll let Amir answer that because he was the one that started SNEV.
Okay.
Yeah. So hello everyone. So thank you, Maimona. I think lack of having the ECR representative for extracellular vesicles field, and back then I remember there were so many societies on immunology and cancer, stem cells, and then there was nothing much focused on PhD student or ECR on extracellular vesicles field. But also it was COVID time, right? So it was a generation where we were seeing everything is moving from, like physical meeting to more something like online and virtual meeting. And then that was the time that the idea ignited. And then I started approaching students and also like ECRs. And then together with Sara and all the former executive member of SNEV, so we started this whole SNEV initiative.
So yeah, so how was the first meeting? How was it like? What was the platform? How did you start? I mean, with it, how did you inform them that yeah, we're about to start this great initiative? Yeah.
Great. Okay. So when I wanted to start the SNEV, what I did was I went to my former Twitter page and also look at my LinkedIn, trying to find the students that represent from different country, but also focusing on EV research. So I met Sara before in ICEF 2019 in Kyoto, and then other SNEP former members I haven't met back then. So what I did was I said, okay, I'm gonna now look at Australia and then, for example, New Zealand. So then I found one of the member like Johnny. So she was based in New Zealand. So I said, I'm gonna now email Johnny and ask her, we're going to start something related to the student network. And it's about extracellular vesicles. Would you be able to join the meeting? And also if that's something you want to be part of executive committee or not. So like that, I've emailed, I guess, maybe 13 members, representative from all over the world without meeting them except Sara. And then I've just got the response back from everyone within 2 to 3 days, and everyone they said, yes, we are on board. And then I think it was the early days on Zoom. So I've organized a Zoom meeting. And the most challenge we had back then was trying to identify the time that works for everyone. So I was back then in Australia, and then and many members were in Europe, in America, and also in Iran. So it was a bit challenging to find the time zone. Anyway, so we started with the meeting, and I was sitting there and trying to introduce the idea and waiting for everyone to introduce themselves. And then we just started working, brainstorming, and then we followed up with series of meeting. And then I think initially the name wasn't the SNEV, it was something else. And then over the time we came up with the name and also the logo. And it was a very nice hybrid of, like the people with different talents. So we just had, I think I was very lucky that having all these members with different talent. So eventually we came up together with the term SNEV, Student Network on EVs, and the logos, and everything started from there.
Wow, that's so inspiring. Yeah. So have you ever imagined SNEV would grow this fast and big? From that meeting of 13 people to like 2,000 members now, right? So yeah. Sara, you want to answer that question?
I think, Sara, yeah, you could answer that. Yeah.
No. I still remember like a funny thing for me from the first SNEV. First, I was like, Amir contacted me and I was like, we were supposed to be a journal club. That was the first idea. But then at the same time, Ken started the AV Journal Club. And we were like, okay, we need to change it. Like, let's try to come up with something else. And I remember on our first meeting, Amir had like made some drawings of small EVs and all the EVs were different. And he asked each one of us to choose an EV and then to talk about ourselves and say why we chose that EV. That was quite funny. But yeah, I don't think at the time we ever thought it was going to be any more than just a virtual network. Maybe we'll put some events together. Maybe people will have some interest. And now it's crazy when I find people like my housemate, by chance, she also did her PhD on EVs. When I told her I was president of SNEV, she was like, wow, like you guys have done so much. So it's quite cool to see like how big it became, and like with the support from ISEV, I think it also gave us a bit more credibility because people are just like, well, if ISEV supports them, they must be good. But yeah, I think it was unexpected. I think we're just waiting to kind of like have a good time, put something nice together, and then we just had so many ideas because we had like really great teams throughout the time. And it's also very nice to like go to a conference or get an email of people like thanking us and acknowledging the work and saying it was very important for them. So yeah, like definitely never thought it was going to be this big, but really happy that it is, and it just reached so many people.
Yes. So yeah, a follow-up question on this. When you first realized this is something big, yeah, we are making a difference, I mean, and we're impacting people. When was it? Do you remember a moment like?
Yeah, for me it was two moments. One was when I met you, Maimona, way before you were even part of SNEV. You came to a coffee catch up and then you follow up and you said, oh, this is so important because I work in my lab and nobody does EV work and I don't know like who to contact, where to go. So you guys are like helping me a lot. And I was just like, wow,
Yeah.
it's so like amazing. So that was one moment that I always remember. And the other one was when ISEV invited SNEV to organize the events at the ISEV 2023 in Seattle when I was part of the IOC. The amount of people I had come talk with me, like at lunch and in the bathroom and in the corridors, just saying, wow, guys, like I'm so thankful for you and for what you do. It's really impressive. Let me know how I can help. It was kind of like when I realized this actually has an impact, because before you do it because you like the people you're working with, you have nice ideas, you think these are like nice talks you're putting together to the field. But then when people come to you and they acknowledge that it had an impact on their lives, that's when you're like, wow, it's just like, yeah, we're actually like doing something useful. So those are like my two moments that I realized that we weren't just no longer a group of people organizing like things we found interesting. We were actually like helping people.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. So yeah, how about you, Amir? Anything you want to share about this? Yeah.
Yes, for me also was same as Sara, so two different time points. So, well, not experiment. And so the first one was like back when I was approached with the different companies to become the sponsor of the SNEV. So I then realized that, okay, this is probably impacting, and it's just it's like becoming, you know, something that people are care, and also they think that has an impact to the, you know, the young generation. So that's why they're approaching to become the sponsor for SNEV. So that was the first time. And second time, which has been also my self experience, was that I've started getting email from the students from different country that they're saying that SNEV helped them to lead to the next career phase. For example, the PhD student that's getting to the postdoc or master to the PhD. I guess these two combined together made really me thinking, okay, SNEV is really making changes for the early career researchers. And yeah, so that basically was two main moments for me.
Yeah, it was needed. It was much needed. I was there from the beginning. I was just a student that time. I was not an ACM of SNEV. But yeah, I was so amazed, you know, by finding this platform I could share, because like there are many labs where EV has just started, you know, and we were lonely. We don't have people to talk to. So we really wanted that platform, and we really thank you. We're very grateful for this idea, and that you carried on, yeah, with it. You know, it's not just an idea. You make it a reality, you know, for all the people. And now you are impacting more than 2,000 members, yeah, if not more. So yeah, you want to add something, Amir?
Yeah, I just want to add something. So actually, I want to emphasize that I want to thank you, because igniting something is very different, like what Ken mentioned, that being sustainable, carrying for over the times, that's, I think, is the main challenge. I mean, many of us could come up with the idea, but the idea can be nice and you can start it. It can go very well with this plan you have for 5 months, 6 months, but how you make it sustainable, how, you know, like encourage the young members to join and also take it to the next level, scale it up, or becoming part of something like, for example, ISEP. I think that was like something really, really interesting, and also something that impactful. So I just want to return the thank you to you guys, because you all did the nice work. So for us back then, we just initiated, and it's a matter of being sustainable and carrying, and every year we come up with a new plans, new idea. And also, like you mentioned, I remember back then we had 10 members, so now we are more than 2,000 members. So that's really important.
Thank you. Yeah. So how were the early days like the very first 6 months, you know, what were the challenges and the obstacles? Do you remember any? Yeah, of course, there must be.
Sara, I add quickly one, and then you can carry on based on your experience. Because Sara and I worked really closely to each other. In fact, sometimes I would say Sara was president, myself vice president. So we exchange a lot the role. So for me, one of the main challenge in the first 6 months was that, again, trying to make, you know, like to melt the ice and bring all these individuals from different countries together, work on the same idea. So that was really challenging. And second thing was that there were some situation that many of the members were not agree with one or two other members, and then I had to come up with a solution to dilute, that tension in the meetings. So that was the main challenge for me, because it was lots of learning phase. I was also focusing on wrapping up my PhD, and then there was so much things happening. So I think the PhD students back in 2020, the pandemic was there, many series of lockdown, and trying to organize the meeting midnight, or all those things, I think was really a big challenge for the first 6 months. But I think things started to become really normal and in a better phase after probably close to 1 year. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
that's
what
great
from
to know,
his
just
part.
in case any of the audience wants to start something new. So yeah, it's 1 year to wait, don't give up that fast. So Sara, were there any moment that you felt like you want to give up, or it's too
No,
difficult,
no, never
that's
give
great
up.
to know, yeah.
It was a lot of moments of we need to reinvent ourselves to bring more people, make things more interesting, but never gave up. I think at the start, it was challenging that there was only a few of us on the ECM and we were no. So I had a lot of ECM meetings at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. because I knew I had to be there. So I remember getting my PhD, waking up to be in a meeting at 4 a.m. because it was 4 a.m. in the UK, but it was, I don't know, 3 p.m. in Japan, where Amir was, or in Australia at the time. So I remember that it's sacrifice. Things don't happen. Everything wasn't convenient. It wasn't just oh yeah, I had the breeze time. It was a lot of catching up with emails after work or before work, just putting a lot of effort because there wasn't anything there. So we kind of had to grow it. So while now I'm a bit more, if I don't reply to an email, I have 19 other people that will see that email. Someone will message me. Is a bit more, I can breathe a bit easier because I know I have a really big network behind me. Before, no, I knew that I had to be on that ECM meeting at 4 a.m. because we were starting something. There was a lot of decisions that had to be made. There was a lot of important steps. But now looking back, I was just oh, we were all crazy. But it was different. It was COVID. We were all home, catching up with a bunch of people from New Zealand and Japan when you couldn't get out of your house. It was a different time. But I think it's just yeah, when you have an idea and you see potential on idea, just don't give up. It's like Amir said, there were many times where I had to step up because Amir was doing his thesis or whatever. And other times where Carlos stepped up a lot when I was finishing my PhD, and he was on the newsletter team. So when you can and when you have people that really see the potential of what you're doing and they are willing to put the work, then things will move on. And we are always lucky enough to have a team of people that were always hardworking. So yes, never give up.
Yeah, that's inspiring. Yeah. So yeah, so because SNEV went global, right? And so how do you ensure the representation of underrepresented areas or people?
That's tough. We always try to bring people in the ECM. The first time we changed ECM, we made sure we need to kind of try to have people from all the chapters because those people will make the communication within the chapters and they will bring more people. There are chapters like Africa. It's so hard to reach, but now we start seeing people from South Africa and Egypt, Ghana. We kind of start seeing those people popping up. So it's nice to see we're reaching out. There were chapters that I was easier, like Europe. Europe always opened their arms to SNEV, probably because there's where most of the societies are. There's a lot of research there. People are very engaged. But Asia people are always super open as well. I think we struggle a little bit getting into North America and South America, maybe because of the time zones of the events and stuff like that. But then we started noticing these patterns and also changing the events to more convenient times, making sure we could host things that people would be able to attend. So it was hard at the start when we weren't very known, but I think now word of mouth helps a lot. And we still try to involve all the chapters and really work for those, but I feel it's easier when people also know us and they want to be part.
Yeah, So one more question. I think I'll have two more questions. I want to go for more, but then we are running short in time. So what was one important decision that you both made and you feel it was pivotal for SNEV growth or for SNEV in general, initiation or growth? Do you remember any one decision?
I think like the first contact with ISEV would be the first, like we had like a baby and then we started having a toddler because everything was like very us. We, even before ISEV had any interest in like sitting down and talking with us, we reached out to them to get like the registrations for the first virtual conference. And I think the success of the first virtual conference kind of might have put us a little bit on the radar for ISEV. So I think that was the really big first sign of like growth, like, oh, we can actually grow even more. I don't know if you agree, Amir, but I would say that one.
So what do you think, Amir?
Very good point. I totally agree with Sara on the success of the first virtual conference, I guess, and also the fact that when we started having the SNEV ECM call, so getting all those emails and, for example, people nominating themselves, and I think that's what's kind of showing the success, and yeah, it's just motivate us to move on to the next step. Yeah.
Amazing. So we have a question in the chat. Katerina saying, congratulations on the great work. SNEV, now looking forward for the future, what are your main goals, plans for the next 5 years? Yeah, so.
I think major goal is always grow, like make sure we reach even more. It would be great to like have at some point someone from Africa on our ECM. We have someone that is from Africa. Wyoming is from Ghana or Senegal, but he is in America. So he's not doing his research in the African continent. That would be like great to like establish those connections. And we have so many like things coming out, like the Interconnect program that was announced at ISEV and is going to be like more formally announced soon, where we're trying to really like just make sure we tighten like all these connections, all the societies, all the students, to make sure they are supported the best way. Some of the ideas, like Ken said, how can we make like more EV research accessible to everyone, and how can ISEV and SNEV support that accessibility? So I think that sometimes you really want to like dream super big and just go for it. But I think there are more like small actionable things that we can start working now. And yeah, I don't know. Let's see where we are in 10 years.
Yeah. So yeah, Ken has a question for you. Would you start SNEV today, or did the pandemic help to drive it? How would establishing SNEV be different today? Yeah, Amir, you want to answer that question?
Okay, and tough question. So
The only kind.
yeah, so definitely I would start the SNEV today, and definitely pandemic helped to drive the SNEV for sure.
Yeah.
How would I establish a SNEV different today? Very tough question.
Yeah. I think that the pandemic gave us the Zoom. I think like SNEV thrived on Zoom because we didn't have money. Zoom was free. That was like one of the first things we asked ISEB for was an unlimited Zoom account, because with a free one, I remember at the start, it was my Cardiff University Zoom for everyone. Everyone knew my login details. Everyone knew my password, because that's the one we were all using. And I feel that the pandemic gave us Zoom. Zoom made us understand we can do anything remotely, and that helped SNEV thrive. Establishing something now, you would have to be probably under ISEV and with ISEV support, because we would have to probably have to start in meetings from the societies, which would be much harder to do. So yeah, I think the pandemic and Zoom were like a really big, the understanding that we can all work like so far away but still very close was like what made SNEV. And if it was nowadays, I think it would just be much more dependent on a higher organization to be able to help us.
Yeah, yes. So yeah, with that, I'm going to end this session. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, and
Thank you,
yeah.
Mona.
And thanks for the great work. So from like a tweet to a global network of 2,000 members, that's so inspiring. And I'm sure everybody here is energized and inspired by this journey. Thank you so much. And yeah, so
Thank you so
Carlos, you want to
much.
start the quiz? Yeah, thank you.
So yes, now I'm going to open the quiz session. Just give me. So for the people that maybe were not at the beginning, we are going to have a quiz in which you can participate. It's only about SNEV or SNEV related things. It's not going to be scientific. So I'm going, just give me a second to share my screen. Let me know if you have it. And of course, the winner of the quiz is going to get you can start the winner of the quiz, which is going to be our biggest fan, of course, is going to win a $50 gift card. So go for it. Don't forget that it's not only the number of the correct answers, it's also the time. So if you have a draw in the number of correct answers, the winner is going to be the one who answered faster. So please scan the QR code, or I will put the link in the chat box. And we will start this very soon. The questions, we have 15 questions, I believe, and each question will be for, the answers will be available for 15 to 20 seconds. So don't take that long. Okay. So I can see that some people are joining, but I will have more time. We'll give more time for people to join since we have a lot of participants in the chat. And after this, after the quiz, we have an extra special surprise. So stay. It's going to be very brief after the quiz results, but we have an extra surprise for you. Another big prize, we believe. So stay tuned. So how many participants do we have? 14 so far. So we'll give an extra minute for people to join. So please do it soon. And I believe you have the link also to join in the chat box. Otherwise, just scan the QR code on your phone. Might be easier. Okay, another member joining. Good. Okay. Yeah, one more. So if you are planning to join, please do it soon. I will start the quiz very soon. Okay, 18, almost done. Great. Any last members to join the quiz? So I believe we can start. Should I? Is that okay? Okay,
Yes.
let's move on. So first question, when was the SNEV founded? Was it 2018, 2019, 2020, or 2021? So 5 seconds. a lot of people to answer. Done. So, most people voted 2020 and the correct answer was 2020 indeed. So let's move on to the next question. What does SNEV stands for? Scientific Network on Extrasolar Vesicles, a Student Network on Extrasolar Vesicles, Society for New EV Research, Students for Nanovesicle Education. So for 13 people out of 18, 4 seconds, almost done, and it's done. And wow, 100% of people did answer correctly to the question. Very good. So let's move on to the next question. Who is the current president of SNEV? Would be Kenneth W. Witwer, will be Sara Veiga, Sara Busato, or Carlos Jesus. And 5 seconds to get the answers, almost done, and it's close. And yeah, the correct answer is Carlos Jesus indeed. So let's move on to the next one. How often is the SNEV newsletter released? Weekly, bi-monthly, monthly, or quarterly? So we have 11 people answer from the 18, 14, and it's almost closing, and it's done. And yeah, 60% of people answer monthly, which is the correct answer. Fifth question. Which ISEV guideline helps standardize EV research? Would it be MySEV? Would it be GUSEV? Would it be EV and S? Or would it be JEV? Oh, wow, a lot of people already answer. 14 out of 18, 15 out of 18, and votings are close. And very good, 90%, 94% of people answer correctly, MySEV. The next question, have SNEV ever hosted a presentation by a NASA scientist? Yes, no, NASA, why would they? 11 people have answered this, and we 5 seconds to close the poll, and it's closed. And yes, the correct answer is yes. That was in the first ECM, which was amazing, I believe. Moving on. Question number 7. Daisy Chan, the 2025 Pulitzer Prize winner, presented to SNEV on the topic of how to write a scientific article, bioinformatics, science communication and illustration, or disease biomarkers. And the votes are closed. And yeah, very good. So 67, 2/3 of people answer correctly, was science communication and illustration indeed. Moving on, so we are halfway there. Question number 8, which of the following activities is commonly organized by SNEV? Networking events, workshops, webinars, all of the above. 10 people have answered, 12, 14 out of 18, 5 seconds remaining, and we are close. And the correct answer is indeed all of the above. Question number 9. So when did SNEV hold its first virtual conference? Was it July 2020, July 2021, July 2022, or July 2023? And 5 seconds to close the poll. Almost done, and great. Oh, wow. 60% of people have the correct answer. It was indeed in July 2021. So, question number 10. Which year did the SNEV become the official early career network within ISEV? Was it 2022, 2023, 2024, or 2025? 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's closed. Correct answers is 2024 indeed. So 5 questions remaining. Let's see who is going to be the winner. Question number 11. Which edition of the SNEV newsletter will be released this month? Issue number 39, issue number 49, 45, or issue 50? 12 people have answered, 14, and the votes are closed. And the correct answer is indeed issue number 50, which is really nice. In the same month that SNEV is doing the 5th anniversary, we are going to release the issue number 50, which is really nice. Moving on to the question number 12. In which year did the SNEV start organizing activities at ISEF's annual meetings? It was ISEF 2017, it was ISEF 2023, or it was ISEF 2025? 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. And the correct answer is ISEF 2023. Question number 13. How many activities did the SNEV organize at ISEF 2025 in Vienna? So this year, was it 4 activities, 2 activities, 5 activities, or 0 activities? Because we are so boring. 2 seconds, 1 second, and closings are done. And correct answer is 5 activities indeed. So the last 2 questions, go for it. Let's go, let's see. Question number 14. How many countries are represented on the SNEV Executive Committee? Would it be 11 countries, 5 countries, 20 countries, or 15 countries? 7 seconds remaining, and we have around half of the participants have answered, 15 out of 18, and votings are closed. And the correct answer is 11. We are all around 20 members and we have 11 countries. I believe it's not that bad. And last question. I hope you are ready, almost done, to get the winner of a $50 gift card. So let's go. Last question. How many online events were organized in the past academic year? So this might be tough. 102, 13, 10, or 4? And done. And the correct question, and the correct answer is indeed 13. So very good. I can see a lot of people here know a lot about the SNEV, so might be really tough. Are you ready to see who is going to be the winner? Thank you very much for this. And just before going, I just would like to share the last. Once again, can you see my presentation? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So very briefly, so congratulations to the quiz winner. Of course, you are a true SNEV fan. But before finishing, I just want to share that we have last surprise of the celebrations of 5th anniversary of SNEV. And we want to give you, and we want to give the opportunity or the possibility to win another prize as a gift and a thank you for your support and involvement in SNEV, because as I said before, without you that participate in our activities and you look for our activities and make us be better, we will evolve. So thank you so much. And for that, I want to launch the information that we are going to host a graphical abstract competition. It's going to be launched so people can submit their graphical abstract in September, but we want you to know that we are going to host this. We are finalizing the competition regulation, and we are going to make this available early September. And then we are going to have you are going to have a time for submission of this, and the winner of the best graphical abstract about EVs, of course, is going to get a free registration to ICEF 2026 in Puerto Rico. So we hope to see you participating in this activity, in this competition, and we can't wait to see your graphical abstracts about EVs, about the concept of your research. And without any further delays, I would like to close the session, and I want to thank you very much to the community and the ECM members and everyone and the ICEF and ICEF and Ken, Edit, everyone who has been very supportive of SNEV. And we hope to see you and to grow together in the next 5 years. So thank you very much for joining, and hope to see you soon in our events.